Okay, so the other night I had a dream that Oasis reunited, and I'm not saying I predicted it or did a Simpsons because it had been kind of there's been murmurings for a while now. But the next day, Noel and Liam Gallagher sent out identical tweets saying 27/08/24, 8 a.m. And yes, it was very, very exciting. So Oasis were the biggest band of the 90s. Don't come at me, Blur fans. That's a debate for another video. But unless you've been living under a rock, they're led by the Gallagher brothers, Noel and Liam. And they set the world alight with insanely good songs, rock anthems. But they were also in the press for getting into fights with each other, with other people. And in the 90s, nobody could touch them. So leap forward to Paris 2009, Oasis are due to headline a massive rock festival, and they never make it to the stage. Things are put out on the monitors saying that another fight's broken out amongst the brothers, so the gig is cancelled. Can you imagine being in that crowd, like waiting for Oasis, and then nothing? So by the next day, Noel announced that he'd left the band and that Oasis were no more. He put out a statement saying, "It's with some sadness and great relief to tell you that I quit Oasis tonight. People will write and say what they like, but I simply could not go on working with Liam a day longer." Now, I have really, really raw feelings still about that day, as I was at the City Ground in Nottingham watching Forest defeat my team, Derby County. Forest are like our main rivals. And then at half time, I get a text from my big brother saying, "Have you heard about Oasis?" So it was a bad, bad day in the Fern household all my days. I was 19 and I was absolutely heartbroken. And like millions of other people, I think there was kind of that little bit of hope that it was a blip, because let's be honest, the Gallaghers got into so many fights over the years, and it's not the first time Noel's left the band. He's always returned, but there did seem to be something more final about this split. It was just a really, really, really bad time. It was for music, I think. I think before it also felt sometimes jokey. I mean, some of the quotes. My favourite bit from Noel saying, "Liam is like a man with a fork in a world of soup." There were always fights. The media loved it. It sold a lot of papers. It was part of the whole makeup of Oasis, really. So sadly, I never saw Oasis live in the 90s. Before people come at me for that, because there's the whole thing about who's a bigger fan at the moment. I was 10 when we left the 90s, so I did see them in the next decade a couple of times. I was at what would be their last Manchester gig, although we didn't know it at the time, obviously, at Heaton Park in 2009, so yeah, not long at all before the split. I loved Oasis. I do love Oasis. I really, really loved them. They got me through a lot of growing pains. It wasn't just the music. I loved the whole story and drama around them. They were brothers who loved and hated each other in equal measures, it seemed. I loved their passion for the Beatles, like me. I loved the sense of history they were creating. I just loved how funny they were. They're just a brilliant, brilliant band. I do remember them in the 90s because you couldn't miss them. They were just in every newspaper, every radio. I mean, 2% I think of the country applied for Nebworth tickets. I mean, they were just huge. It's really hard to describe being at an Oasis gig unless you've experienced it. It's just insane in the best kind of way. It's otherworldly, it makes you feel invincible. Everybody in the crowd is suddenly your best mate, arms slung around each other, singing. It's just a joyous occasion, an event. I didn't pick a side. A lot of people pick sides, you know, were you a Noel or a Liam? I supported both. I went to see BDI. I went to see High Flying Birds quite a few times. Really, really great gigs. In fact, at a BDI gig, Bonehead was there. Liam came to the crowd and held my hand. I mean, a proper fangirl. And they did great gigs by themselves. They really, really did. But there was always that element that, oh, if only. So this year, speculation began to grow. Noel did a recent interview in which he was, dare I say it, speaking fondly about Liam rather than, you know, the usual digs. Liam dedicated half the world away to Noel at Reading Festival. And then we get the announcement of the reunion. I was worried the night before, because I thought, is it just going to be an announcement about definitely maybe, it's the 30th anniversary. But, you know, I set my alarm and everything for 8, you know, 7:45. It was, you know, it was so exciting. So here is the downside to this video and kind of why I wanted to do a video essay. Because ever since the reunion, I think I had a day of feeling happy, and since then it's just been messy and deflating, to be honest. I remember on Friday of that week of the reunion, I was kind of scrolling through Facebook and trying to feel happy for people who had got tickets, and I am happy. Like, I don't want to be bitter. You know, I am happy for people to experience Oasis, of course I am. But I was just gutted, to be honest. And the reason I was gutted was because of money, and it's just such a shame. I don't want to age myself prematurely, but by saying back in the day, and of course there's going to be increases in ticket prices. It's just the way of things. Everything's increasing in price at the moment. But I saw Oasis at Teton Park, where they're going to be playing next year. And I think my ticket, I'm pretty sure it was £40. And brilliant gig. Twisted Wheel, The Enemy, Kasabian, they were the support acts. It was like a mini festival. It was unbelievable. And now go to the present day, and the increase in price I think is just unacceptable. So a ticket to Teton Park, the cheapest were £150, and I just couldn't even begin to scrape that kind of money together at the moment. And I mean, and the few days between the announcement of the reunion and the tickets being released, I'm sure I'm not the only one who wasn't in the position to even, you know, find that kind of money, because adulting and all that kind of things, and I would have felt too guilty spending that amount of money, despite my love for Oasis. It's just, so I was gutted when I saw the prices, and little did I know but that wasn't the end of the story. The whole thing with Ticketmaster and the price increase, people waiting for hours. I mean, I have friends who are the biggest Oasis fans in the world who were in the queue for like 5 hours and then got booted out, didn't get the chance to go. And there's a kind of unspoken bitterness, I think, which is a shame. I mean, I've seen people who've got tickets who I have never kind of seen to be an Oasis fan, you know, before. But then I think we get into the dangerous kind of thing of saying, I'm the biggest fan, and acting like kids. You know, music should be for everybody. Everyone should be able to experience seeing a band they like live. However, I can't help thinking now, has music become elitist? And it kind of goes against the Gallagher's ethos of working class and everybody being able to experience live gigs. I just think it's a shame that potentially they can be playing to not genuine fans, but people who can just splurge on tickets and just go because it's newsworthy. And it's not like Oasis are the first band to disappoint fans in this way. I mean, look at the Rolling Stones, it just kind of sucks, doesn't it? And, it's not just music either. I mean, if you look at Comic Cons now, Comic Cons used to be a great place for fans to meet and be open about their passions and be amongst, like-minded people. And now the prices for people to stand next to an actor they like, hundreds of pounds. It's, how do people even begin to afford that? I mean, and I'm happy if you can. What about the fans who can't? And does it make them less of a fan? No, of course it doesn't. But is that what artists want? Is that what bands want? Actors want? Do they want just to, perform to people who can afford it? I have no doubt that there are real passionate fans who can afford tickets to events like Oasis, like Comic Cons, etc. And good for you, good for them, and I genuinely mean it. But where does it leave the rest? Kind of being, excluded from the experience because it just isn't affordable anymore when it used to be. I went through the whole process of proving that I was a genuine fan. I thought that was great when they did that Oasis. Name the original drummer. I'm sure that was like the most Google question. I kind of wanted to say, I've read his book. Does that give me extra points? But what's the point if then you get through that, I've proven you're a real fan, etc. But then you feel excluded because you can't afford the asking price, even the lowest prices. And I guess my question is the ethos of music and entertainment being lost for good? Is it becoming elitist? Please do share your thoughts. I'd love to hear what people have to say. Please keep it friendly. Again, this is not attacking people who've got tickets, because I'm genuinely happy for you. It's just for people like myself who have loved the band for so long and have felt a bit deflated by that. I'm still ecstatic they're back together. I'm glad the brothers are back together. It could open, doors for more music maybe, which we, all can enjoy. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Take care. Bye.